My name's Adam Walden. I'm an Associate Director within the BDO South Africa office and specifically in Johannesburg. So my secondment was in New York, specifically in Manhattan. I went for an 18-month period from 2012 to 2013, midway through 2013. For me, the experience was twofold. So there's obviously the work side of it, where you assimilate into the work culture and a different office overseas. And then there was also a personal side of it where I lived by myself in a completely foreign city, being New York, which is one of the epic cities of the world, and got to experience that culture and that lifestyle in that city, which for me personally was quite a big growth phase in my life. So overall, I really enjoyed secondment, and I think it's a very good experience that anybody aspiring to do it should consider. Busy season there is generally from February until mid-April or so, and you do work a lot of hours in that time. But it's not as bad as it sounds. It kind of goes by really quickly, and I think it's also because you're in a new city and a new culture and a new way of doing things that it does really go by that quickly. And then also with the busy season, everybody's kind of involved in it. To be on that side of the world, it's winter, so you can't really be outdoors too much anyway. So it's not something to be scared of. It comes and goes, and before you know it, it's summer months and things relax a little bit, and you can go out there and see the city. In terms of what's being underrated, I think also there again, just what you're going to get out of it personally, and I think a lot of people don't think about that. It's more of like a travel experience. But I do think when you do go across, for you as a person, you learn about different cultures and different ways of doing things, and you come back probably a very much more rounded person than what you left as. And you've experienced a lot more than what you would have had growing up in Johannesburg or South Africa or wherever you came from. So learning-wise, it was twofold. The first one being on the work side. I went across to the States where they do a lot of US GAAP, and obviously the tax is a bit different. So now going forward in my career, when I came back, I've had to deal with US-based either clients or other firms. We've done some work on them, so that's come in handy. And then on a personal side, I grew up at home, and before secondment, I generally didn't have to be self-sufficient, but I landed across on secondment, and immediately you have to kind of fend for yourself. So it was important for me to, develop that side of my character and see that I could. And when you live by yourself, you learn a lot about yourself. So it was a good time for me. So I think if you are looking to do secondment, I think you need to be specific you need to think about where you want to go and what kind of city you want to see or what area you'd like to see, because you do have an opportunity to travel. There are a lot of options as to what's out there. So it's kind of very difficult when the secondments become available, if you're trying to make up your mind as to where you want to go when all these kind of interviews and offers and that sort of stuff are coming through. So I think be clear about what you want. Also think about the time frame you want to go for. A lot of people think about doing a shorter term secondment as opposed to a longer term one. My advice personally would be, circumstances permitting, go for a longer term one, just because of how quickly time does go by. 3 months, which are some of the secondment periods, you're flying in and flying out before you even know you've landed properly. So I think timeline, where you'd like to go, and the costs involved also are quite important to think about. For the cost, it's not as if you're going to be out of pocket permanently, because you do get reimbursed for your flights and your visas, etc. But you do have to put some upfront costs in, depending where you go. But for me personally, because I went on a long-term one, I had to pay my first month's rent, my last month's rent, and security deposit upfront, which was out of pocket for me personally. But that being said, you did get your deposits back and everything at the end of it. It was just an initial outlay that I didn't know about. So just have all your facts in order before you decide on it. So overrated about secondments, a lot of the guys kind of fear the busy season that everybody hears about, which in my experience was a bit more work than the busy season we would have here. But for me, it wasn't as bad as it was made out to be. It's generally like a 3-month period or so when it's all the financial year ends of the major clients overseas. But the thing with busy season is I felt everybody was kind of involved in it at the same time, and it was winter where I was, so it was cold and dark anyway. And it just kind of really went by quickly, and it wasn't this massive thing that was to be kind of almost scared of, just because everybody was in it together to work through it, and it went by really quickly at the end of the day, and it wasn't something to think about. And the summer months make up for that when you have a chance to get outside and experience the city and that. So for me, that was overrated after I'd been through it. In terms of being underrated, I think just kind of personal growth you will go through as a person. You're living in a foreign city, a foreign culture, and you're almost forced to assimilate into that, otherwise you're going to be by yourself. So you're out of your comfort zone, and it's a very good learning experience as to you as a person and what you will do and where you'll go to kind of see and almost by yourself, and then how you're going to get involved within the culture and within the people to build a friendship base and a base that you can essentially live in.